Good afternoon. I just wanted to go ahead and see if everybody's doing fine with the first part of the term just starting. I know it's just been the last couple of days, but what I like to do is go over the syllabus and kind of give you a little bit more detail on what we're going to be doing throughout the coming months. So let's go ahead and go through the syllabus first, and then we'll go over to the e-learning site and give you kind of what layout will be there. Again, my name's Bob Super. I'll be your instructor, and I have office hours listed there on the syllabus. I have tried to have quite a few hours, so if you're available to be on campus, love to see you. If not, I will also have online hours posting that I'll post in e-learning week to week, where we can maybe go through the chat or do something like that. And of course, at all times, I'm available by appointment. Best way to get a hold of me is through my email, rtsuper@delta.edu. I religiously look at them on a consistent basis, and the only thing I can say is maybe on weekends I might not be that up on it at 8 a.m., but I will try to respond as soon as I can. The textbook we're going to be utilizing is Security Policies and Implementation Issues. It's the first edition by Johnson, 2011. And we're also using a lab manual that is with the textbook, and we will have assignments through the lab manual throughout the course of the term. We will be utilizing the D2L for all of our processing. It is a full online course, so therefore that's where we'll do all that. Regulations: if you decide that anytime during the term you want to withdraw, you can do so, but please go through the registrar's office when you do the withdrawal. Otherwise, if your name is still on the grade sheet at the end of the term, I have no option other than to give you a grade of F if you have basically half the work done or whatever it may be. I also encourage you to contact me if you are having issues and you're thinking of withdrawing. Maybe there's something I could do to help you out. The outcomes and objectives are essentially, this is a course that is really going to zoom in on security policies and procedures. I've been in a field where I had security policies and procedures for HIPAA, which is a healthcare issue that we had to deal with, as well as all the data center, being all the servers, mainframes, that type of technology, and also just basic user policies as far as email and the internet and that type of thing. And policies are one thing that, to be perfectly honest with you, it's the late Friday afternoon of the work week where we decide, well, we have to get some policies done. It's not on the front burner, and so I encourage you strongly to put this course on the front burner, because once you get all the information and understand all the information, it'll help you when you go further on in your career. The next couple pages, I'm not going to go through each one, but they are basically a detail, and at the end of the term, hopefully, you can go back to them and say, yes, we did that. We did we went ahead and covered that, and we touched base on all of those objectives and outcomes. Again, there's about 3 pages, so feel free to take a look at those on your own. The textbook, we will be reading the entire textbook. There's approximately 15 chapters. The readings are relatively short. The chapters are not very detailed, and so every week we will have a chapter. As far as the homework, lab assignments, we will have every week a reading chapter, and I also have a quiz, basically not meant to as a quiz to be a testing mechanism, but to help you go over the chapter again and miss anything or make sure that you're okay. Now, I have put a time limit on the quizzes of 20 minutes, and the reason being is personally I went through a couple of them, and they should not take you that long, and by putting that small window there, you should be able to get through it without much problems if you read the chapter prior to doing the test. Individual project, we're going to be doing a project at the end, and I'm going to start probably, I would say in a couple weeks. I will announce the project and maybe even have another one of the recordings so that you understand exactly what we want to do with this project. I think it would be a very good project in the sense that we're going to cover everything that needs to be covered. So look forward to that in the next couple of weeks. Discussion forum, I essentially, with the online course, I like to have discussion forums because that allows you as a student as well as myself to kind of get to know each other, even though it's an online course, but to be able to converse back and forth and generate some ideas. Currently, we're looking at 5 forums. I am going to put another forum out there, kind of call it the hey, I need help forum or a break room forum or whatever. And that would be a way that you as a student can go out there and say, hey, I'm having issues with this. Has anybody else come across that or anything like that? So I will be adding that this weekend, putting out that. The grading and evaluations, it's a straight scale grading type of environment. Basically on a percentage is what grade you're going to receive for the course. And as you see, I have a table laid out there where we have weekly quizzes over each chapter. Essentially, there's 150 points, total of 15 chapters at 10 points. The lab assignments, and the reason why I looked at this textbook, and with these lab assignments, it will help you write more as far as regarding policies and procedures. And so the lab assignments are going to be 10 of them spattered throughout the course for a total of 200 points. We're also going to do some case studies, and I don't have those laid out in the online e-learning as of right this moment, but to give you an example, one of the case studies would be the use of the cloud computing to store data. What kind of a policy do we have to have for this? Now we're giving basically our corporation all the data of our corporation, and we're having it residing somewhere in the cloud. We need to have some type of policies in place in the event that gets jeopardized in any way, shape, or form, or if something should happen, what are we going to do and react to that? So that would be one of the cases that we're going to be covering. I already mentioned discussion on e-learning. There's essentially 5 of them at 20 points each. The reason I put so much of a high points on them is I want you to sincerely go out there and not only do your own. For example, the first one we have is introduce yourself, but to also send back a discussion with your fellow students, because that helps you get to know each other better, a little bit better, and feel free and open up. So again, that's why the high on the points. We will have a midterm. Essentially, it'll be 100 points, multiple choice, 50 number 50 at 2 points each. Those will come out of chapters 1 through chapter 8 of the textbook. And then we'll have a final exam. The final exam is going to be 150 points. It'll be the second half of the multiple choice would be the second half of the course, chapters 9 through 15. And then there's going to be some short answer essay type of questions on the final exam. Attendance is important. I can only say on an online course I've taught, now this is my 4th or 5th, I can't keep track, 4th or 5th class that I've taught online. And one thing that I found that when a student fails, it fails because they just don't stay on a weekly basis. They try to think that I'll be able to cover it in a couple weeks, and they fall behind, and they unfortunately do not catch up. And finally, the final project, it's going to be 200 points, and again, I'll give you more information on that in the coming weeks. Attendance, again, I already mentioned that. Plagiarism, please do your own work. That's essentially trying to do someone else's work, so I think that will be a given. Exams and quizzes, I already kind of covered those. 2 exams, midterm, final, and there'll be mostly multiple choice with some essay at the end. And one thing I want to really emphasize is the communication Communication is critical for your success, and please, at any time, come to me or send me an email or whatever it may take. I'm very open, and I want to make sure that you are very free to express anything you have, and so please do so. I have their e-learning. We'll have the scheduled activities. We'll take a quick look at that in a moment. You might want to mark this on your calendar. A week of March 3rd, we are in spring break, and I try to not have anything scheduled at all during that week. So you do indeed have a week off from classes, which will be based on our weather right now. It'd be nice to have a nice warm spring break. So last day you turn in work would be April 29th, and I have to kind of be very stern on that one. Due to the fact that I have to get grades in, and if I go ahead and say, well, let someone give them another additional week or something like that, I cannot do that. The next couple is policies. I'd like you to review those on your own. But again, a lot of students, you have to realize, or at least be aware more so, that there are policies written just for you, the student. So that will be that. And then the last page on the syllabus is a little bit more on the Senate handbook and some of the ethical conduct expected of students. So that's pretty much the syllabus. And now let me go ahead and flip over to the e-learning site. Not the right one. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so here we have basically the welcome page. Announcements. I'll try to do these on a weekly basis, so I'll kind of tell you what we need to do and where we want to go with that. The content section is where we're going to lay out the week to week, and here you see, and I'll kind of change it to what it will look for you. I have some out there. If you notice that I basically shaded them out, I have not decided if I wanted to. At this point, probably one of them will be, like, for example, on the week number 2, the iOS Code of Practice for Information Security Management. We're going to go ahead and do that. I just haven't decided when we're going to do that. But essentially, look at it this way. This week, the first week, we had the syllabus, which you always will have out there. If you ever want to refer to it. The Chapter 1 PowerPoint, they're from the textbook. They're not that detailed, but they might be something you might want to go ahead and just preview. I would say if it takes you about 10 minutes to look at a PowerPoint, it might help you see some of the topics that you read in your reading. And then there's a Chapter 1 quiz, which is basically 10 multiple choice questions from the chapter. And then we have the first discussion. Again, the second week, you can kind of ignore the ones with the clouds, because I'm blocking those out right now. But those you might see down the road. When I say down the road, I mean maybe a case study that we might run into with that. You'll have your first Lab 1 Dropbox. Your Dropbox, essentially there will be 2 documents that you will submit in that Lab 1 Dropbox. So when you go look at the lab manual, take a look at it, and I believe next week I'll probably might just have a special little broadcast on the lab material. So that kind of takes us through, and I tried to lay it all out, and I'm kind of like working through it all to make sure that we cover everything and have a good time, a good learning experience for you. Again, course tasks is discussion, the Dropbox and the quizzes. We will not be utilizing groups. And so that's kind of, I think, for those of you, if you have not taken an e-learning course, I want to mention this. They do have e-learning training, or basically assistance at the e-learning. So you can get a hold of the e-learning folks, and they can help you out if you have any questions or need any guidance or anything. So really, the purpose of this hopefully I tried to make it brief, but to the point where you can just kind of like listen to this and kind of like if you have any questions or anything, please definitely contact me, and I will be able to help you out. And hopefully you'll find this very informative, and you'll enjoy this term. and I, as an instructor, will enjoy having you as a student. So let's have a great term, and again, I'll be in touch with you on a weekly basis, and hopefully everybody can get the first week done and get moving along. So again, if you have any questions, email me, please, and I will respond as soon as possible. Thank you, and have a great weekend. It's supposed to be in the 40s. The weather's starting to shift a little bit on us, so hopefully you'll be able to enjoy the time in that. And we'll talk to you again soon.